Hi, I'm Kelsey, the Youth Services Librarian here at the Detroit Lakes Public Library. And with the end of the year in sight, I thought I'd share with you guys some of my favorite books that I read this past year. So these are the books of 2015 that if I had space for them on my bookshelf at home, they'd definitely be on it. So first I'll start with some of our children's books. The first one I have here is one called Grandpa Green. This one is really a very sweet book. It's about this grandfather who works in a garden, and it kind of tells his story and his history through the garden. So as he's going through and tending to this garden with his grandson, you can see he tends to the garden and kind of shapes the plants in such a way that it tells the story of his life and of his history. And it's a really sweet story. And this is one that I warn you that the kids might not get it, but as an adult, as you read this, you're probably going to cry. So I just want you to be aware of that. Another one of my favorites I read for the first time is King Bidgood's in the Bathtub by Audrey Wood and Don Wood, a really great married writer-illustrator couple. This book, I'm sad to say I hadn't read, even though it's been around for a long time. The pictures are absolutely beautiful in here. Don Wood has some really fantastic illustrations. So this story is about this king who refuses to get out of the bathtub, and so his page is tasked with trying to get him out of the tub. So all these different people from the royal court go in and try and get King Bidgood out of the bathtub, and it never works for any of them, and they always come back. Like this poor knight who went to try and get it comes back with his pants down, looking just horrible, trying to maintain his dignity as he went and ended up playing like battle boats or something with the king in the bathtub. So that's a really fun one to read too. And then for our, this is for middle school and up. This series I talk about all the time because it's really fantastic, and it's called the Rangers Apprentice series. This series, it starts in the first book with Will, who's a young boy. He's an orphan, and he and a bunch of the other orphans in town, they all go to this kind of big meeting, and the different masters of crafts are there, and they pick these orphans to come and be their apprentices. And so Will gets chosen to be the apprentice of a ranger. And what a ranger is just kind of a general adventurer who kind of keeps peace throughout the area that he's set to govern. So it follows Will in his training to become a ranger himself. And you meet all sorts of really great heroes and villains and all kinds of neat stuff. So if you're interested in medieval times or that kind of thing, or Robin Hood sort of stories, the Rangers Apprentice series is excellent. And I believe there are 9 or 10 books in this series, and there's also a spin-off series too, so this can really keep you busy for a long time. And that's by John Flanagan. And then here for our teens, teenage and up, is a book called Hattie Big Sky that I just read. This one's really excellent. It's about a girl, also an orphan, whose uncle dies, and he leaves her his land claim out in Montana. So she goes out, and she still has to prove up on the claim yet. And so it's basically her story of going out there and trying to prove up on this claim all by herself when she's only 16. And the author actually, Kirby Larson, it's actually based on the real story of her grandmother. So this is a really great book too, especially if you're interested in kind of pioneer stories. And then some of the last books here, these are books actually for adults, but they are appropriate for, I'd say, teens too. This one is called Remedies Rituals, Folk Medicine in Norway and the New Land by Kathleen Stoker. I'm usually not much of a nonfiction reader. I read a lot of young adult books, which tend to be more in the fiction genre. But this story is really great. It's about folk medicine and traditions in Norway and the traditions of recent immigrants. And the really great thing is this book is written by a Minnesota author, so she talks about immigrants in the Fergus Falls area and other areas close by here. And the last book I'm going to try and squeeze in real quick is Julia Child's Autobiography, My Life in France. This story is absolutely hilarious and heartfelt and wonderful, and tells all about Julia Child and Paul Child and how they met, their lives working in the Secret Service for the United States government and traveling all around the world, particularly in France. And of course, you find out all about how she got started cooking. So that's another excellent one of my favorites. So of course, as usual, we've got a big stack of books here for you to read at the library, and we have 30,000 more here for you to come and check out in the next year. So hope to see you soon. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.